Hello, hello, good evening. How are we all? Are you having a good day? So we are on Hello Creative Evie, Seaweed Dining and 7-1 Bagpiss. Thank you for joining me. Sorry, I'm afraid Instagram shows me your handles and not your names, but lovely to have the three of you with us. We also have two of you with us over on Facebook, so hello to you guys too. For some reason, the chat on the Facebook is not loading. So I'm just going to quickly try and... My husband isn't even around, he's out tonight, so it's typical that it would be while he's away. Well, let's see. I'm going to have to see if I can get Facebook Facebook on my phone. Oh, we have one person on YouTube. Hello, whoever's on YouTube. We're having difficulties with the comments on both Facebook and YouTube, but what I'm going to do is try and pull you up on different devices. That way I should be able to check the comments. Let's have a look. Right. Okay, Facebook people. Hello, Alison and Susan. Nice to have you with us. I'm going to flip the camera around so you're not just watching me faff, but I'm going to try and now get YouTube on my iPad. Hello Louise, hello Mum, how are you? We're having technical issues. It's typical when Alistair's out, we're having technical issues. Hello Lisa, hello Sue. So today we are crafting with, excuse the crunkles, this MDF kit. So if you are part of my Facebook group, we had a poll going on over the weekend as to what you would like to see today, and yeah, an MDF kit won the poll. So that's one, and so that's what we're going to be doing tonight. But because it is a sort of bigger 3D project, we're going to take 2 weeks to do it. So we're going to get the basic painting and bits and bobs done tonight, and then we will decorate it with characters and things next week. Anyway, I'm going to swizzle you around. I'm going to keep... Thank you, Alison. Thank you so much. Sorry. Alison's just saying that she shared it. Thank you to anyone that has shared it. And yeah, we will get going. To those of you on YouTube, I'm not ignoring you. I will try and find the comments in just a minute, but I'm just going to flip the camera around first. Is that not going to work either today? Nothing's working. There we go. Dodgy lighting, but that we can fix. Okay. See if I've got the right one there. There we go. That's the lighting sorted. So, just bear with me just another 2 seconds. Sorry, normally it's not this chaotic. Typical when I don't have someone to sort of lean over my shoulder and help me with the tech. Typical, typical. So, I have prepped to an extent. Just going to make sure. Never had to watch myself live on YouTube before, so I'm hoping that it just shows up. Yes, okay. And I have the comments there as well. Okay, we have comments. This is probably not the most technically advanced way of doing it, but it's working. You're always a lovely bit of chaotic. Yes, there's always a bit of chaotic. Not this much chaotic, that's not ideal, but hey ho. Anyway, the kit comes like this, and it's really high quality MDF. These are available on my website. They are really reasonable price kits, to be honest. I think this one's about £6. Really high quality MDF. You can paint straight onto it. I tend to gesso it first, purely because MDF is quite porous and so takes up a lot of your paint. And you know, as soon as we spend our precious money on it, it's best not to. Sorry, I'm trying to grab what I want without knocking my phone over. I've got like pots holding all my devices up. So I have gessoed first. As I said, 2 reasons. Partly that it means that we are being more economical with our paint, and also because I like a nice bright look, and if you put paint directly onto the MDF wood, you will get a little bit of a vintage look. So we're going to look at a couple of different techniques. The way this, oh sorry guys, I literally just banged my palette into the microphone, so that would have been a bit of a bang in the ears. So hi Elizabeth, hello Caroline. I'm not quite seeing the chat on YouTube yet, but hi. Right, so the way this works, we have a number of panels. So this is eventually going to sit into here, and it will be a 3D project, like so. Okay, but then we've got the main houses, and then we're going to build it up. So this goes on top of here, like so. This on top of here. And then we've got all the like extra frames and bits and bobs that we can add later to make it really 3D. Okay, so I want to do a combination of just painting and some that are papered. So what I'm going to do is paper this section here, and then that'll be 2 of the houses, and then it'll mean 3 of the houses are just painted. Hello Lisa, how are you? Okay, let's get going, and hopefully I'm not going to knock all my all my devices over as I start. Right, I think, am I going to grab this paper? I quite like this. I thought this was quite a soft colourway. Let's see what we've got. This is all scraps. Great way of using your scraps. I feel like we're just pulling the same. I obviously like that paper. I've got the most scraps of it. I'm thinking something like this might give us more choice though. Let's have a little look. I just want a piece here. I just want a piece that will sit over that. And the other thing is, sorry Facebook peeps, that was you just falling over. Hello Rianne. Hello Taylor, how are you? Right. You keep dropping in and out, you think it's your signal. It could be your signal, or it could be that my system is just all going to pot. Who knows? Yeah, I've actually run out of gel medium, and I sell Lynette's gel medium in my shop, and I just quickly ran up to the house to get a little bit of gel medium. And I've ran out in the shop too, so I'm going to have to do some shopping when I come off tonight. It's very sad, isn't it, having to shop for craft products? What a shame. Okay, so not worried about this being too precise, and these bits here are going to have other bits of MDF cover over. So what I'm going to do is stick this down with a tiny bit of gel medium that I have got remaining. Let's bring my paintbrushes closer to me. So how is everyone today? Are you having a good day? Hello Fiona, how are you? Right, I'm going to try and get what's left of my gel medium onto this here. And then we're going to be doing a lot of paint mixing as we try and find colours that sort of match our papers. But it's all good. I'll be alright. Try not to knock my paint pad over because it's holding up my iPad. Oh, hi Deb! So Deb's on YouTube. Hi to the people everywhere. Typical. Right, there we go. So I'm going to do this and just stick it down. I might try and get slightly neater to the edges. Eventually what I will do is get a bit of sandpaper just to really take the edges off. And I'm going to create a little bit of a distressed look, which we will do in just a second. Hi Sophie. You had a lovely crafty day, Alison, at Holiday Club tomorrow. So what are you doing at Holiday Club tomorrow? That's got a bit distressed, but that's okay because we're going to attack that with sandpaper in a bit. Now what I'm going to do is take out some Vaseline or petroleum jelly. At least we're allowed to say Vaseline on our own channels. When you're on shopping telly, you've got to be careful because it's like, you know, you can't say branded stuff. What we're going to do is create a resist. So I'm going to keep some of these areas. I think we'll keep a little bit of rainbow area because that's nice. And I'm just going to keep a few different bits. Pop some Vaseline over it. drop some up here as well. And then put a few streaks of it in random places. You're making handprint parrots. That sounds fab. Okay. Hello, ghouls and berries. Sorry to everyone on Instagram. It gives me your handle and not your name. I know I keep saying this, but yeah. So I'm sorry if I'm not using your first name. Right, so now that I've done that, I am going to get some gesso, and water it down slightly. You're having a goodish sort of day, Deb. Excellent. I'm glad you're having a goodish sort of a day. Right, I'm going to just pop this in here. And I'm going to spray it slightly because I don't... The marvellous thing about gesso is it's not completely opaque. So there's an element of transparency to it. So we're going to be able to knock this back quite a bit, which will be nice, but we're still, even though we've knocked it back, we're still going to see what's occurring underneath. At this point, it's just like really random. Am I at the closest? There we go. I was thinking I'm a bit far away. Press the wrong button. With all the chaoticness at the beginning, trying to get all the things to work. Technology is marvellous when it works, and it's a pain in the bum when it doesn't. So yeah. Hello, Heartfelt Crafted Notes. How are you? Please do let me know your names on Instagram. Okay. You made a batch of dark chocolate muffins this afternoon. Oh, that sounds lovely, Sophie. We all need to go round to Sophie's. She's got chocolate muffins available. That's just what you need with that crafty session. Some chocolate muffins. Okay, so now that I've got that down, it's like, why has she put paper down and then immediately covered it? Good question. We're going to create a fun resist technique, hopefully. Hopefully that is going to be the plan. I'm actually just going to keep that brush to the side. I don't want to be... We're going to end up going through a lot of brushes tonight. So, right, now that I've done that, I'm going to take a damp cloth. And I'm just going to rub. And where we put the Vaseline, it created a little bit of a resist, and it will lift. You had a fun day organising all your stamps. You even cleaned some, which felt a little bit alien. Ooh, cleaning stamps. I very rarely clean stamps, although some stamps I do kind of really need a clean. Do you just clean them with soap and water, or do you have like special stamp cleaner? It's like I actually cleaned my brushes today. I actually took them out of the water pot, mostly because I knew that I was going to need brushes tonight. And so I actually took them out the water pot. So yeah, they're looking a bit, I'll show you, like, this is why you shouldn't leave your brushes in water. Look how distorted that is. Yeah, so I actually cleaned it, but when I was in art shops and things, I have seen sort of like special soap for cleaning your brushes, and I just wonder if that is necessary. I tend to just clean them with warm water and yeah, warm water and a bit of soap, and then just clean it off. Right, so I realise that looks an absolute mess at the minute, but bear with. Trust the process. I'm actually just going to make sure that I get these edges a bit neater, so I'm just going to grab a bit of sandpaper. We may put more detail on these houses in a bit, most likely we will. I can see me over stamping in bits and pieces as well. We'll see how much we get done tonight, but hopefully it should give you an idea. Hello Stacey B, you've not been here long. Well, very welcome. So Stacey's over on our YouTube channel. Hello, how are you? Mainly soap and water, but those which have been used with paints. I used one of those glue erasers. Ah, clever. Those glue erasers are great. Right. So this will now, so this is going to be in situ. So basically now it's just going to be those these two houses that have a bit of a pattern. I think they could end up needing to be knocked back a bit more, but let's not spend too much time focusing on that. So now I need to mix up colours for these houses that kind of match. So I think we want to maybe go for a pale pink, a pale blue and a pale teal. So what I have done, especially as we are going to, this is a wet palette. This is the best money I've ever spent, honestly. I will put a link to my Amazon later on for one of these, but they're not that expensive. This isn't the best example because this paint is dried, but I honestly probably used that about 8 months ago, so you know, you can't expect miracles. But you've got a wet sheet underneath and then a bit of film here, and it literally will keep your acrylic paint. I think I've kept it wet for about 6 weeks. So because we're going to be using it again next week probably, I have set this up. So it means whatever paint we mix today, we can also use later. I've also got some acrylic markers looked out as well. So we'll just see how we go. Right, so I'm going to get some white. We're going to go through lots of white. Let's get I like that blue. We'll go for that. And maybe pink. I've got some pinks here. I feel like we need a green as well. See, I'm seeing this green, but these are both metallics, and it seems a bit of a shame because as soon as we mix white in with it, it's going to take the metallic out of it. But anyway, let's just see how we get on. Right, I'm just checking the charts. This is a bit harder now for me to check the charts because I'm having to look in 3 different places. Hi Kim, lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Yes. Right. I'm hoping when hubby's finished doing what he's doing, he might come on and pop on Instagram and realise that I'm struggling. So I'm just going to put a great big dollop of white paint. I'm not sure on the quality of this. It looks rather like cottage cheese, but we'll see. It wasn't an expensive, wasn't an expensive one at all. Okay, let's get some green out. Oh, I've got a half tube of this here. Let's use that rather than open another tube. Just checking. Thank you, Kim. Just trying to check all the charts. It's weird having to look in 3 different places. It's taking me a lot more concentration than normal. And let's get some pink. This is going to be very bright pink. Okay. There we go. And right, I think I'd quite like my front house to be pink. So I'm going to grab some of this white and some of this pink. And now, even though I like, that is very much like cottage cheese, even though we are working with acrylic paint, oh, that's very transparent. I still like to work with shading. So we will be trying to shade this. That is quite sickly sweet, isn't it? It's also not covering very well. So let's just see if we can, yeah. I'm just going to go in with the really strong stuff and blend it out as we are working. I feel like a lot of this is going to be very repetitive tonight, so we'll see how we get on. I think once we've painted one bit of house, we'll kind of know what we're doing. Right, I'm just actually going to leave that dry because it's just mixing. So we're going to have to use our imagination somewhat here because that looks quite dreadful. We're going to get that, need to get that pink. We're going to need to get that pink looking a bit better. It's going to need lots of white. I think I'm going to need a better quality white. We could just go back on with our gesso in a little bit if required. And so I think I'm going to maybe go for a bluey colour over here and a tealy colour that side. I don't know if it's the white paint that's destroying it, in which case we can always try a different brand. It does actually look like cottage cheese. Yeah, that seems to be pale and disgusting as well. Oh well. Put that on on this side. I'm not being too neat at the top because it's all going to be covered, so I'm just trying to work out what's occurring with these actual the actual houses. Lost the ability to talk now. I'm just checking all the chats as well. I have to get the heat gun out to encourage some of this. Right, so it's kind of, thank you, Deb. See, that blends quite nicely. The pink needs some work. We will go over that with gesso once it's dry a little bit. But actually, although they're quite transparent, they're not too bad. Let's waft them with a heat gun and see, once we have finished wafting, whether we can manage to layer up the colour somewhat better. To plug in the heat gun. I've got little things of my restream that I'm using to broadcast this across all the channels. It's got a little box that's come up that says, do you need help? It's like, yes I do, but I'm not going to start clicking buttons now. Right, just going to waft this dry a little bit. And I'm not too worried about getting a perfect paint job on these either, because we're going to probably be stamping over them and doing doodles and all sorts of different things. So it's all good. Let's get waft that as well. I'm going to knock that back with gesso, I think. To make it somewhat more pleasant. Okay. So let's see if we can build up this blue colour. I've just kind of got this in my palette here. As I said, this will stay wet until, well, for weeks now, to be honest. But it means if we're needing to do touch-up next week, we can do. Oops, got a bit of green in there as well, never mind. Wasn't planned, but I like things multi-tonal, so it's all good. Possibly another layer of blue over that and we'll not notice. I'm kind of going in with almost the full colour now. Maybe I should have done that at the start. Also, I'm going onto my table, but just as well I cover my table with a big bit of, I actually use lining paper. Works quite well, but I can't get one white. I did have one that was really white that was fabulous, but I can't seem to find it again. Hello Magic Butterfly, hello Rainbow Crafts, lovely to have you with us. Oh, what's next week? Oh, hang on. Snacks into Kim's kitchen. Oh look, fish and chips. Fish and chips, nice. I do like fish and chips. I don't get it very often with the whole gluten-free thing, because there's not that many places that do gluten-free. There's one place that's reasonably local that I can do it. Right, I'm going to try. See, I've got a feeling that this one isn't going to be any better, because this one's clearly been bought from B&M Bargains or something, but honestly that other paint looks like cottage cheese and I'm wondering whether that's the problem. Ooh, that's just literally, look, literally just poured all over my hand. Oh, it's going well tonight. Yeah, that seems very watery. I don't think that's going to help in the slightest, unfortunately. Oh, graduate acrylic. That's more like it. I don't know why I've got these cheap things. Probably like, I don't know. Let's get some. That's a better quality Excellent. Sometimes you get what you pay for, I have to say. Right, let's see if we can start making this work slightly better. Now we've got some decent paint. Much better. Right, so we'll get this on. Look at that. Much more opaque, much more lovely. So, the two paints that just turned out to be a disaster, just for future reference for everyone. I don't know why, probably they were on offer or something. Alright, so that's the one that's going well. So that's Daily Rhyme. This was Artist Acrylic paint that I've obviously picked up in B&M Bargains. That is literally just run everywhere. And the other one that was very horrible. Where's that just gone? I don't know where that's gone. Oh, this one here, that's it. Art Studio, which I think is the budget brand up at Hobbycraft and stuff. That is the one that's like cottage cheese and completely transparent. So I don't recommend either of these. But this one is do the job so far. Oh, good. Hopefully now we can get into a rhythm. 30 minutes in, we might actually get somewhere. Okay. Just checking. You have a lovely gluten-free fish and chips not far from you. There's a nice one near my mum's. So quite often when we go through to Allness, I'll be like, can we go to the storehouse so that we can get fish and chips? It does tend to be a little bit of a request of mine. But other than that, there's not really anything in Inverness. Now I've managed to pick up a bit of pink here as well. Never mind. But look at that. That's much more... It was a nice pastel colour that I wanted. And also, but it does have some opacity to it, which is marvellous. I'm going to get the nice pastel colour in. And then we will maybe build it out a little bit. So we'll get that in the centre. And then we'll just gradually maybe get some darker colours at the edges, and then we can blend it out. As I said, I think sometimes when we work on an MDF project or a 3D project, we just go in flat with the colour. And as you know, I love my multi-tonal effects, and I think it's one of the biggest tips when it comes to like doing a 3D project as well, is treat it how you would colour anything else. Just think a little bit about your tones. It doesn't need to be... I'm not being overly accurate. If I was being, I'd start thinking about my shadow for the roof and stuff. I just want a little bit of multi-tonal value in there, just to, I don't know, give it a bit more depth of interest. Right, let's get some white and green mixed up now. Oh, so much happier now. I've got decent white paint. Excellent. You've lost your craft mojo. Oh no, Sophie. So does anyone have tips for the lovely Sophie who has lost her craft mojo? I personally find that trying to craft with no pressure, as in even like pressure we put on ourselves of having to create a finished project. So sometimes I would just get a product that I like out and just make a whole load of backgrounds. That's one of my favourite tips to do, just start, or even if it's small tags, and just splodge some paint around. Then you're being creative, but you're not expecting yourself to come up with something really pretty and finished and perfect. It kind of takes the pressure off a little bit. And then the other thing that I like to do is I would also look, this is why I like to keep art journals as well, is look back over some of your work that you like, that you've done in the past, and just try and copy yourself. So copy it. Sometimes I look at an old journal page and I'll just try and recreate the journal page. And I kind of find that sort of puts me in the state of flow. Sorry, there was too much of a contrast between this green and that one, and it didn't go with the papers very much, so I'm just bringing a bit of that teal into it. So yeah, I would kind of I might actually have an example of that. Whilst this is drying, I might have a little look and show you what I mean of what I've done in the past with Lost Mojo. But if anyone else has any tips, because yeah, Lost Crafting Mojo is, that's gone really bright looking. Be knocking it back a little bit. Knocking it back and blending it out. I don't really need to aim for perfection too much here, because as I said, we're going to have different stages. So Deb is saying, so Deb's over on YouTube, and she is saying small index cards are good. You just put down the colour and then look out a stamp and dies you've got that would be nice to play as a background. Alison looks to Pinterest for Lost Mojo. Yeah, look into others as well, or following a craft tutorial. So even something like this might feel a bit much if you've lost your mojo, but like there's so many YouTubers, and in our Facebook group as well, the Crazy Craft Hive, we've now got a tutorial section. So we post a tutorial up there every week, and it gives you step-by-step instructions. So things like that, just following a tutorial, it takes the thought and the pressure out of it. Hello Creative Pixies, lovely to have you with us. Right, so that's kind of where we're at the minute. I want to tie this bit into these bits a little bit. This is still a little bit bright for me. I think we're going to have to mix a lot more blue into that. But what I'm going to do is let's sort of carry on the idea that we had here, creating a resist, but put some of the colours on that we have used in the rest of the project so that it ties together. Kim loves Pinterest. So again, I'm just putting the Vaseline in areas that I quite like and want to keep. And then can go over it with some of the other colours. And it's just hopefully going to tie all the pieces that we have got together. Let me see, right, so I'm going to mix. The blue is a bit more successful than the green. That green's still a bit bright, but we'll see how we go. I'm going to bring some of this blue on now. Let's make it a bit darker. It's kind of seeping into. Bring a bit of that in. Hopefully it'll just help it to tie in a little bit to, oh, nice and blue, to what's going on in the other houses as well. Because although we want the houses to be their own individual things, it'd be nice if they sort of worked together as well. Now let's get our little rag. So Melanie says she totally agrees, creating backgrounds or stamping out images or just adding graphite if you want to add a little bit of colour. Oh. So Sophie's saying that she loves Alison's cards and journal pages. Excellent. I will show you one of my journal pages, what I mean about earlier, about just sort of recreating stuff that you've liked in the past, because it's a page you've liked, but you've already done it, and if you're copying yourself. Right, okay. I'm just knocking this back a little bit. Probably should have let it dry a bit more, but hey ho. Tis what it is. Right, I'm going to put some of this pink on. I probably should put Vaseline down first. Hello Judy. Lovely to have you with us. Just going to add a little bit of Vaseline now, these couple of places. Hello Michelle. Sophie's, alright, so Alison's going to have a look at her blog for step-by-step guides, yeah. So I'm going to pop a little bit of pink on. As well, this time I'll try and remember to dry it. And then we can maybe go in with the white again as well. To turn off. Right, I'll find the I love doing this. It creates a really fun distressed look. And then I think we'll do it again and we'll go over it in white and then pull it back, and hopefully that should mean that it'll tie in a bit nicer with everything else that we've got going on. So basically, if there's areas that you like and want to keep, you put your Vaseline over that, because it'll stop the paint from sticking. So I quite like that little area there, and I quite like the distressed bit happening there and up here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is put, you're welcome, Sophie. I've got so many brushes on the go now, it's hilarious. It's doing a project like this. It's because I don't like to dip them in water too much, because I find once they're wet, they're a bit harder to use. So I'm going to go over all of this in white now. But bits of the paper that we put down at the beginning will peek through, which was kind of my whole point of doing it. I'm just checking all the chats. I think we're all good. Okay, give that a little waft. Just to dry it off, and then we'll do the reveal again. Then we'll see how it's all looking together. We'll maybe have to make some decisions on what the roofs and things are going to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this to sort of the painterly stage and any decorating on the houses. Once it gets to the point of having to glue it all together, I will do that through the week. Partly because of time, I was going to do it anyway, but also now I've run out of gel medium, so I'm going to have to actually order myself some gel medium. And then next week we will decorate. We will kind of add characters and things. So from our stamp collection, we will add a few characters. It's best actually not to have your cloth too wet. It's quite nice just going in with a dry cloth. See, now we've just got sort of lovely distressed peel paint look. It's fab. Okay, so now that we've got, hopefully this is going to marry together a little bit better now. So we've got that there, like so. And then we've got this one, right? That pink needs knocked back still a little bit, I think, as does the green. And then once we've done that, let's work out what we're going to do. So I'm going to add a lot more white into the pink that I've got mixed up, and just try and, oops, got the wrong white, that's why. I need this good white that's up here. And knock that back a little bit. We could actually do a slight distress thing with this, couldn't we? Should have done that. Never mind. I'm just going to bring some, what I might do is get some shadowed areas with some distress inks in a minute. There we go. That's a slightly more pleasant pink. And then I think I need to do the same with the green as well. So I'll bring a lot more white into this. That looks like I'm completely knocking it back completely. I just don't want it to be too bright. I'm bringing a bit more green now. I'm just faffing. This is the trouble. This is why I'm surprised this, because as I said, this went to a vote. So in my Facebook group, this went into a vote. I'm hoping that this is playing in the Facebook group. I'm sure one of the girls has already popped it in there. If not, I'll transfer it over later. But yeah, so this is what the Facebook group voted for. And for tonight's live. That's better. See, I like that because we've got multiple colours and it's looking slightly distressedy. Words. There we go. That's quite pretty, isn't it? That pink is still quite vibrant, but anyway, we'll work that out later. Okay, so we have this bit of roof here. This one must go here. And that means this one goes here. And then we've got the doors. So what I want to do is sort of do some mixing and matching now. So I think we'll maybe make this one here kind of a bluey green. It's pretty much gone on white now. Also seem to have clumps on my brush. You added, thank you Sue, I knew one of you would have. Sorry, it's because I can't keep up with the comments because I'm literally looking on 3 different devices for the comments. What's the group called again? It's called JMC Crazy Craft Hive. But in there we have like polls. We have polls for what the new digital stamp freebie will be. We had a poll for what the live was going to be tonight. And actually going forward, any releases I have are going to be a lot more chosen by you guys. Basically just so that I'm making what you want. So yeah, in future we're gonna, like I'm going to be saying, I'm planning next year's releases. These are the choices. What do you want? So it's going to be, you'll be a lot more input from all of you. Right, I'm going to make this one pink. My goodness, we're almost at 9 o'clock. Really decorated the MDF. Thank you, Alison. Oh, thank you, Sue. You're both on it. Right, so we've got pink over there. Let's have pink over here as well. Balance that out. I was hoping to stamp some little details and colour with acrylic markers tonight, but I think we might just be getting this far. Right, there we go. That's all right, isn't it? So, yeah, maybe green. I'm just trying to get that there's a balance of colours. So we'll maybe go green for this one, and then I need to sort the chimneys out as well. Well, they're both attached, so that makes it easier. So we'll go green here. Thank you, Lisa. Hi, Beth. Nice to have you with us. And we'll go green this side as well. So if anyone wanted to craft along, this MDF kit is available on my website. I think it's about £6, so it's not very expensive at all. And you get loads in it. So you could technically watch this on replay and get to the same stage that I'm at, and then craft along with me next week as we start to sort of stamp and decorate and get extra details. I think now that we've got that, is that too pale? Maybe I'm going to just punch up the colours a little bit on this one. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to come in with some distress inks just to get all the edges and get the colour looking good. So that would go there like so. It's cute though, isn't it? I like it. Right, I'm just actually going to make all the chimneys blue. Oh, that means they're on different levels. It's very fun. I like this, the fact it's done like this, because you've got great dimension on it already, but it's also really easy to do. You're not fiddling with lots of little bits because they're all sort of attached to a bigger bit. Okay. So that's kind of roughly what we've got at the minute. It's not bad, is it? Right, and then what we can do, I might not colour this yet because what I want to be able to do is decorate the vines and things. Like, we'll probably stamp onto this. I'm just kind of giving you an idea. So we've got the doors. Oh, I was going to say we must have more. They're over here. So we have the doors, which we can, just going to move them around so that it doesn't look too samey. And then we have windows. So you can put the windows in, but I think we will colour all of these possibly in next week's one once we start getting all the different sections. Because what I want to do is stamp some little flowers and have some little vines and details and things like that. The other thing I need to paint is this. I will literally be following the same technique and paint that green. So that's where we'll be with that next week. But let's just get a bit more detail on it with Distress ink. I'm going to dry them off and then we'll get a bit more shading sorted. And all of this paint here, because it's in the wet paint palette, it will stay wet till next week, so we'll be able to work with the exact same colours that we've created. So that's quite good. Right, let's give all of these a waft and then we can get some Distress inks out. I'm trying to do this without burning my hands. This rate we might be part 2 and part 3. Hopefully it'll just be part 2. It'll be all the detailed work next week. It's honestly so weird looking at 3 different locations to try and find I kind of damaged, to find what you're all saying, kind of damaged some of the paintwork, but to be honest I'm really not bothered because it's just going to add to that distressed feel. It's going to look so much better. The other thing is with the doors and things that we could possibly come in with paint pens as well. Right, so I'm just going to pop my paint palette to the side a little moment. What am I looking for? Distress inks. Okay. I think this one will be useful. This one, Gish Flamingo. What else have we got? How we get on with those ones. We might need this pink. We'll just see how strong it is in comparison once we start getting going with it. Hello Julie, how are you? Right, let's start with, go with the peacock feathers. I do just love adding shades and tones to everything, so I'm just going to try and, is that going to be, we might actually need the Mermaid Lagoon. Yep. quite dark enough to be showing up. It's a bit better. Okay. And then this way we are going to get the shadows and stuff, and shadows really just do bring everything together so much. Okay, I'll do that on this as well. See how we get on with the green on this side. I can see us having to use Mermaid Lagoon on that as well, but we'll see how we go. Not too bad. Getting a bit of shading in there. Sometimes I would even go in with black soot just to get proper shading, but we can just see how the overall thing feels. Does make a difference. Shadowing always makes such a difference. Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm just checking everywhere. Right, now we'll get the Kitsch Flamingo in. Not, yeah, I think we're... Oh, I'm just waffling now. Right, we'll do this. I actually want the pink raspberry, and then we're just going to pop that around the front there. We've also got like details that are slightly engraved, so when it gets to the stage of getting like our acrylic markers out and things, we'll be able to go into those details, which will be fab. I'm going to get some pink raspberry. Also just going to go there slightly so that we get a little bit of shadowing when this comes on. Okay. Right, the paintwork is still ever so slightly sticky. So I think if we were to start stamping on it, we're not going to get the best results. Like if I wasn't crafting live, I would sort of be leaving this overnight. You know, if I was doing this as a YouTube video, I'd be leaving it overnight and then coming back to it at this stage. So I think we might be best doing that. So I'm hoping that was still an interesting live, even though all I've done is paint bits of MDF. See, I'm sitting stressing about it, thinking I hope this was interesting, but then it was what you all voted for, so I like. What do we think? Do we like this as a starting point? Is anyone going to give it a try? That would be fab if you were able to give it a try. Right, just before we go, I just want to show the lovely Sophie what I meant about Lost Mojo and looking at your old work. Because personally, it's one of my favourite things I've been able to do that. I really like that. That is cool. And then we will try and find some characters. Might have to be some of the animals, because I think some of the girls... It's looking better now. I've darkened the edges, absolutely. And once we get to the stage where we're stamping on it, I'll probably do like squiggly lines and do all the doodle borders as well that I normally do. I would still sort of apply those techniques to this sort of project as well. That'll help to sort of distinguish the bits and pieces. But yeah, as I said, it'll look something like that once we've got those, and then they'll pop as well because they'll have different colours, but just so that it looks like, you know, looks like something. Right, let me have a little look at my journal. Oh, so, and then I will head and leave you all to it. thinking you would get some little hooks and make them for my keys? Ooh, that would be fab. Right, where's the page that I'm thinking of? Somewhere in here. Yeah, there we go. Right, so once upon a time, I did that page in my journal. Unfortunately, I've not dated it. It was years and years ago. It was pre-JMC Designs. This is Alina Zinsky art. And so that's a journal page that I made. I actually made it for a challenge that I used to be part of on YouTube called Take 5. And I loved that page. And I was having a Lost Mojo day. And I literally took the same, you can see it's the same colours, the same layout, the same sort of idea of sort of dark with a black and white image and light with a coloured image. Except this time I have used one of my own images. So this was early in the JMC thing. And I've added, so they're kind of the same but different. But just in the process of sort of just starting and just doing, and as I said, I was following my own thing. I wasn't having to think. I wasn't having to come up with an idea. I just sort of did it. And then in the process of doing that, the creative flow just sort of starts again. So yeah, but I kind of keep that in there because I quite often pull that out to say that. So yeah. Anywho, let me just flip you around and I'll chat to you again. I can get my journal closed now. That'll be a job for later. Right. Where am I? Hello. Turn this ring light off as well. So yeah, I'm sorry that we didn't completely finish. It was always going to be a part 1 and part 2, but I hope you find it interesting. The few different techniques. The techniques that we've used, obviously, yes, I'm applying them to MDF right this minute, but all of those paint ideas and, look at my hands, paint ideas and distress techniques can be done in your journals as well. So anyway, I am going to see you guys next week. So I'm away for the weekend, but I will be back on the Monday, and what we will do is we will stamp on those and decorate them up, and hopefully maybe kind of build up and have a couple of little JMC characters on there as well. We might either have to go digi stamps so that we can shrink them down quite small, or maybe some little critters. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. I am going to say good night now, and do pop over into the Hive. As I said, regular tutorials there, polls, all sorts of fun stuff going on. The group's about you guys, so please do make the most of it. And I will see you guys next week. Once I find my mouse, I will say goodbye.